And then the pool stole the family's credit card and racked up a whole bunch of charges, including but not limited to a $5,000 DoorDash order. And the worst part about this entire situation, besides the crippling credit card debt that this family was going to be saddled with, especially if the credit unions weren't willing to work with them, is the fact the pool didn't even offer a tip on said $5,000 DoorDash order. And this entire scenario was too much for everybody involved to take, and they all died. The end. Hey, Blumhouse, there's a pitch. Can I have a couple $1,000,000 to fund that? Because you funded Night Swim, which was written and directed by Bryce McGuire and was also written by Rob Blackhurst. They did a short film in 2014 called Night Swim. You can definitely tell that this was based on a short film because it had a short film concept and it was stretched to its absolute limits. So yeah, this comes to us from Universal Pictures, Atomic Monster, and Blumhouse. The bane of my fucking existence. When I see Blumhouse on the tin, I'm like, oh boy, this is either going to be The Invisible Man, or it's going to be mildly entertaining. Maybe it'll be stupid like Truth or Dare, or it's just going to be really goddamn bad. I mean, they did do The Black Phone, to be fair, but Blumhouse decided to just shove this out about it's a family that gets a house, and they have to get it for a particular reason because one of the family members is not doing all that well, and he's sort of the breadwinner, being the dad, Wyatt Russell, who's a former baseball player, and he develops a bit of an illness. And it turns out that this particular house, including the pool that's been drained for quite a while, has certain properties that help him become even better. But obviously, a horror movie, there's going to be a bit of a price. And is it a heavy price? It's as heavy as a bunch of goddamn water that basically sogs you and drags you down into the depths where you're just looking up and thinking, God, horror used to be so much fucking better than this. So yeah, if you haven't been able to tell or glean or even like basically grasp, because it's water, you can't grasp water. I mean, you could try, you get in a bucket, you can hit somebody over the head with the goddamn bucket. Maybe the executives from Blumhouse that decided to fund this absolute goddamn schlock. That's the plot without getting into specifics. But it's called Night Swim. It's about people going in a pool routinely, not even at night. There are a few points where it happens in the day. So your title's misleading. You fucking goddamn pricks. Look, I'm sure Bryce and Rob actually wanted to make a good movie here. And maybe they thought they made something good. But I'm going to blame Blumhouse here. In fact, I'm just going to basically throw this at the feet of Jason Blum and say, yeah, you're smart as far as, making low-budget movies and turning a profit. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's, that was a pretty goddamn big shitfest, but it made a whole lot of money despite coming out on the cock the same day. This had no business getting a theatrical release. Now, it probably cost $5 million to be fair. But yeah, Wyatt Russell, if that name sort of rings a bell, but you can't think of it, remember Overlord? Remember that concept that was, well, it really should have been a whole lot better than the movie turned out to be. It wasn't very good. It was like if a Wolfenstein game was made into a really shit movie. You also have Carrie Condon. You want to practice safe swimming and always wear a condon. Ha ha. She was in the Banshees of Inisherin. She's also fucking gorgeous, and I wish she was in something better than this. So you have the two kids. You have Izzy and Elliot. Phone home. I wish somebody had phoned, the studio and said, "Can we make a movie that's better? What? We need to make it shit? Yeah, let's just do that." I really don't want to dump on movies because I know after the actors and the writer's strike and the fact that it is difficult to make a movie, I get it. I get that it is tough. And I will dive into a lot of schlock when it comes to horror, especially when the pandemic hit. I was diving into a ton of shit. I saw 200 movies in 2020. I saw 78 plus a bunch of retro stuff in 2021, but I picked it up in 2022 with 200, and just at the end of 2023, I got to 276. And I saw a lot of shit. And the fact that this got released in theaters, and I mean, credit to the director and director, writer, and the other writer. Credit to them for getting their vision on screen. I was the only person in the theater, in about a 200-seat theater. And it's got a pretty good marketing campaign. It's on social media. Enough people had seen trailers for it. And yeah, granted, I saw it on a Thursday evening, but still, I don't live in the biggest goddamn town, but you gotta be kidding me. And this was incredibly lazy. There were special effects in this that wouldn't have been out of place in an early 90s movie that tried to do either superimpose stuff or early CGI. Actually, remember the Black Cloud thing from House on Haunted Hill? Yeah, the remake. Yeah, there's an example of that in this movie. I'm not really spoiling anything there because, yes, the pool is haunted. Oh, Blumhouse, I fucking hate you. If I mentioned I hate Blumhouse, maybe I'll say it a few more times in this review. But yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I mean, of course, we get a backstory, we get some other stuff, and we get characters acting really stupid. Instead of not going in the pool, just don't go. Just don't go in the pool. And maybe don't rip off heaps and chunks from other movies that sort of did the shit better. I mean, the idea of a haunted object or a haunted thing in your particular, yard or something that maybe is a necessity. Like if it was actually the haunted water main and you couldn't use water in your house, or if you did, it would possess you and you didn't know, it was like cabin fever, that might work. Except then Eli Roth would have been involved and it would have been rotten. This movie is also rotten. This movie happens to have about 2 people, really, that you've heard of. The kids are fine. I mean, the actors do the best they can. And maybe there was a germ of a good idea here, but the execution, it was like the movie was publicly executed and then shoved out and just, you gotta poke it with a stick. I don't want to try and learn today. Yeah, and the explanation's just shit. I'm sorry. It's just not good. Again, I'm not saying don't watch movies like this. I'm not saying don't support filmmakers and help them achieve their dream. But just for me personally, and even though I am able to see movies, like routinely and everything, because if I see them in theaters, I use a pass. It gives me a cheaper rate. I'll still rent something like this on streaming for about $6 or $7 and watch it. I have seen some real goddamn shit, and this pretty much takes the cake because there's a good idea here, and it's absolute goddamn dog shit. The execution's terrible. There was a point where I said, okay, they do this one thing, and I know I'm really gonna write the movie off, and I did, and then I was like, you know what, okay, they didn't show that like I thought they would. Maybe it didn't work. It didn't work at all. The jump scares were bad. The explanation was even shittier. Stuff just occurred because apparently suddenly shit can just go worldwide or, town-wide instead of just being confined to one particular thing. It makes no goddamn sense. Night Swim is really, really, really apocalyptically bad. It is only January 4th. If this is not on my worst films of the year list, I may have found my worst film of the year already. And I know I've said that with other stuff. Now, there's a good chance that Imaginary might actually be worse. That's another Blumhouse production. But yeah, go watch it if you want. Go with some friends. Have some fun. Do support filmmakers, even if I don't like a movie like this. Don't pirate it. Don't do that. Rent it and have friends split the money with you or something. But support filmmakers. But God, this film was dog shit. I'm going to get into spoilers. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So yeah, the opening has a girl that it turns out her name is Rebecca. She is out, she is let out, she goes swimming, or she tries to get her boat out of the pool. She's pulled in the pool, and then suddenly, this weird shit's going on. This boy is trying to, seemingly the brother is trying to get, it's like, oh my God, this girl, my sister is being killed. What the hell's going on here? And the girl drowns. So the girl drowns, by the way. She could have gotten out of the pool, but no, she has to go back and get her boat, her little boat. You don't need to go get the boat. It's not that important, kid. God, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're just a fucking idiot. Anyway, yeah, and the funniest thing about this whole scene is they did a part where she got drug along and everything. Like, oh, no, yeah, this kind of stuff. And she's like bopping out of the water trying to do that stuff. It's like the Jaws death in a pool scene. in the beginning of the first Jaws. No, really, that's what they did. So yeah, Ray used to play baseball. That's why Russell, he got sick. Doctor says it's possible MS. Do have to say the doctor is quite pretty. Carrie Condon, who is much better than this material. Good God, is she ever. Bright, beautiful, Irish, a terrific actress. She is like, we're going to make this work. They're looking at a couple different houses. This realtor is desperate to, sell them a house because they're moving to the Twin Cities. We know that because they say it once. They literally say it once. Otherwise, this could have been any town, USA. And then the kids go to school. And Izzy, and Izzy, who the actress apparently was born in 2004. I mean, I just look because I'm trying to think because she looked familiar. I tried to see where she was from. I couldn't think of anything else until then. I happened upon the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snacks. She was in that. I don't think she had a huge role, but I do recall seeing her on screen. But that movie pretty much left my memory until I looked on IMDb. She has a sudden romance spark up with a guy and invites her to a pool party. You should also try out for swim meet. Maybe if they had multiple haunted pools in this, it would have actually been better. Just have everything be a haunted pool. Oh, kids, out of the pool. It's like if Adult Swim was written by a sea cucumber. Again, I am sure they tried here, but they didn't try hard enough. And the idea of this pool is basically there's a natural spring under it, and that is what's filling it. But if you drain the pool, then, well, you can't do anything with it. Ray ends up getting a cut on his hand and ends up not doing all that well. This is after he falls in the pool before it's drained and gets sick. Worse, and everything, and gets checked out, and we find out about the MS, that kind of stuff. That's a terrible disease. Not mocking that at all. Then he gets a cut on his hand, and then stuff starts up from the ground, comes a bubbling crude. The Beverly Hillbillies would have been better in this, and Jed Clampett was a goddamn, racist character. I don't know about the actor. But yeah, Ray discovers, hey, wait a second, suddenly my cut is healed, and I'm feeling better. I can work out, I can get better, and I'm going to be able to hit a baseball, maybe. Elliot, who still needs to phone home or phone somebody, possibly Child Protective Services for endangering a child's mind with this schlock. And you could have never gone in the pool again. Just never gone in the pool. Of course, they have to come up with a convoluted reason as to why everybody has to go in the pool. But they did something at the end that they could have done a lot earlier. The cat was killed off the screen. It reminded me of my cat, the producer, aka Sir. If you have been a medium time subscriber to this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, take a look through my video log and look for the thumbnail. You will see he's a huge 18-pound cat. Terrible special effects. Minimal budget or not, don't do shit that you actually can't, pull off. Ray ends up going full Amityville horror dad, where I just need to take a dip in the pool, it's fine, and then he starts getting a little more angry and angsty, and all this stuff happens really quickly. Again, I was the only one in the theater, and I imagine that if there was like half a theater in there, half capacity, half the people would have walked out. Because this is cable access levels of shit. They play the game Marco Polo a few times. Izzy plays with her new boyfriend, who I don't remember the character's name. The actor was fine. I thought it was the guy from Bottoms, who actually would have helped. In fact, watch Bottoms. Bottoms is a great comedy. This is unintentional comedy. Yeah, Marco Polo. It's more like Marco Polio. I think this movie's the equivalent of polio. I think I would have rather had polio than what. No, that's bad. Anyway, dead Uncle Fester attacks Izzy. The boyfriend's like, what's going on? Or this guy that's kind of her boyfriend. And then they do this big old party because night swim, so let's do it during the day. It's called Night Swim for a reason. Be literal with your title movie. And they have a party. Everybody's partying. A bunch of young, pretty people. That's all having fun. Yay! We're having fun and drinking soda and going to the malt shop later. So it's not the 50s. Might have been better. Maybe it was the 80s. They could have done a lot of coke and voted for Ronald Reagan. Do. So Ray gets a bright idea. Hey, wait a second. To his kid, you picked up the ball that I smashed and I broke apart and everything because I'm a famous baseball player? I'll sign it. Hey, wait, there's a guy that I'm going to call Steroid Shrek, despite the fact we have never seen this character before and we will never see him again. A dad that thinks he owns the pool and they're playing the chicken thing. You put a kid on your goddamn shoulders, you try to push the other kid off. It's fun unless the kid doesn't know how to swim and then he drowns. And then it's more fun. Never mind, I'm just going to move on from that. The realtor, by the way, is explaining to Eve, very, very close to Eve. I mean, who wouldn't want to be close to Carrie Condon? Yes, maybe I will confess my love for Carrie one day. Shut up. But she tells Eve about all the stuff that happened. This is all I know. And then a little more. And this is all I know. And then, about Rebecca, the girlfriend in the beginning, she died. The family freaked out. And Then the water was drained from the pool. Eventually, kinda, maybe. Actually, the pool wasn't totally drained. That was after Ray, fell in it or whatever and passed out. God, only Ray had died, we wouldn't have actually had any goddamn movie. Who would have had Carrie Condon trying to carry this goddamn thing? Because Wyatt Russell, who seems like a fine actor, isn't a leading man. At least not in this. I actually thought it was the guy from Winchester at first because they sort of look alike. Put them side by side, they kind of do. And that's how memorable the guy from Winchester is. That's what I call him, the guy from Winchester. Helen Mirren was great in that. Let's get back to this. So, yeah, after finding out some stuff from research, because the research scene always has to happen in these movies, Eve goes to visit Rebecca's mom. And it turns out that Rebecca's on oxygen. I thought it was Michelle Yeoh at first. I'm like, no, Michelle Yeoh was in A Haunting in Venice, which is a better horror movie, even though it was the weakest of the Hercule Poirot movies. Poirot, I don't know why I said it like that. And the mother explains in a very convoluted way, called Mrs. Summers. Summer loving, having a blast. This movie should have been blasted in the ass. And then blasted repeatedly until there was nothing but eviscerate. I don't know if it's coming across, but I really hated Night Swim. And nevertheless, the mother explains this stuff. Oh, a while ago, before this house was ever built, she somehow knew this. Was she told this by the ghost that's in the pool? Because at one point, Elliot was targeted by a whole bunch of this stuff. He was targeted, and there was somebody on the diving board. And instead of being intelligent and getting out of the pool, let me just do something dumb. So the whole point is that Ray is healing up from this stuff, but then he's also getting sick when they try to take him from the house. Oh no! Where's James Brolin and his goddamn beard when you need him? That was the only good part of Amityville Horror. That and the dog. The dog is the best actor in the movie. Rest in peace, Amityville Horror dog. So basically, the house was built on an old spring well that looked like it was at least a creek or possibly a river? Where did they put the rest of the water? Anyway, the locals would make a wish. And then it would become like Sleeping Beauty. Snow White. You know, where the guy would wake up Snow White with a kiss and violate her. God, Disney's weird. Let's get back to this. Wishing well. The price, if you want to save somebody, like she wanted to save her son from being sick. Well, she sacrificed her daughter, her healthy daughter. And her son's gone on to do great things, but she sacrificed her daughter. Mother of the Year, folks. Andrea Yates takes her hat off to you, saying, I could have just done one? God, that was dark. And then... Where's this? She has this part where she's explaining the stuff more and she's on oxygen. So she's coughing and she's pouring some water out. And then she starts coughing and sneezing the stuff out and the stuff's leaking out of her face. It's like her makeup was running like she was the girl from Orphan. You remember at the end of Orphan, sorry if you haven't seen it, you know, her makeup was running because she was a little girl at the time. But it's like that. That's really what it looked like. That's about the level of intelligence and effort they put into this bullshit. The Summer's mother seemingly dies. I refuse to care, honestly. I refuse to commit that to memory. Then Eve is bound and determined to get this, taken care of. They had a pool cover thing going. Elliot somehow is at the bottom of the pool after being dumb. And, I mean, everybody's being dumb. Because he hurt his cat. And yeah, I'd do anything for my cat. But if I knew my cat was dead, I probably wouldn't go towards a meowing cat. Unless I knew one needed to be rescued and adopt, don't shop. He ends up down in the bottom of the pool. And then Eve says, help me, Spock, help me, Izzy, help me roll this thing back. Let's go, and you go get help. And then somehow Izzy cuts her hands on glass because she was like the girl from Founders Day. I did a review of Founders Day. It's going to be out in a couple weeks. And then probably out on streaming in a couple weeks. Probably give you an idea how I felt about it. That was a Regal mystery movie. This movie should have been kept a mystery. Like a mystery as to how in the world Blumhouse stopped funding this was a good idea. Oh yeah, suckers like me will watch it. the daughter goes to, call for help, but she cuts her hands on the glass and everything, and she's freaking out, and then she's trying to do the touchscreen thing with her bloody hand, and instead of maybe just, I don't know, even though her ghost dad, not the worst ghost dad, committed the film, if you get it, you get it, she can't wipe her phone off. That would make too much sense. She can't. She can't use the other, she can't do anything intelligent. Ray starts tossing daughter around while Eve swims down all the way to the bottom and is grabbing, trying to grab it, Elliot. And then all the weird ghosts show up. And then Rebecca shows up with a coin because it's like a wishing well thing. Because earlier there was this change jar that was handed to Elliot, and all he had to do was throw something in there and make a wish. Probably wish for his dad to do well, but then that meant that Elliot would die. Oh, Elliot, how dare you want to have your father live? I mean, evidently is what the well's teaching you. The well's teaching you to hate everybody. Don't worry, movie, I already hate you and everybody involved. No, I actually don't. I don't blame the actors. I just blame the people who funded this. Jason Blum, you moron. So, gets Elliot. The pool must be like 5,000 miles deep. I mean, I know it's supernatural. It's this. It's just dumb. It's just so dumb. And yeah, the girl Rebecca shows her the coin. It's got the smiley face on it from earlier. And then they get back up, and then she gets a bat after Ray tries to do something. And she hits him with the bat. And beats the shit out of him. And gets the stuff out of him. And then they're going to leave. And then Elliot gets sick. And then Ray says, oh shit, a price has to be paid. I somehow remember this after being possessed. And I'm going to step in the pool and die. Thanks, honey. He's a bride. I mean, I'm not saying Eve didn't work, but did he have insurance through the MLB? I am so confused by all this. The Players Association will have questions. Bud Selig, bless his, soul. I mean, I believe he's dead. He's gone. He would probably wonder he'd probably say, look up and everything and get out from under the ground and be like, what the fuck's going on? Enough about Bud Selig. So, yeah, the family decides, hey, we're going to stay and we're going to fill the pool with dirt. We're going to drain it and fill it with dirt. You could just destroy the whole thing. You could break the whole thing and then put dirt in it. You could do that. Are they going to get a sequel? Night Swim 2? I don't know. Electric Pooloo? Yeah, let's just go with that. F in case you didn't figure out from the opener. In case you didn't figure out. Eat shit, Night Swim. Go watch it if you want. Don't pirate it. Watch it. Pay for it. You'll just feel like the movie should have paid you back for it because this movie shouldn't exist. Anyway, F, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.